So hey guys, my name is Avarti and welcome back to another Elder Scrolls lore video. So today we're going to be talking about the lore surrounding the Great War of Tamriel, which is arguably one of the most pivotal wars fought in the continent's history. If you've played Skyrim, you may have heard mention of the Great War, as this conflict is what effectively triggered the Civil War of Skyrim, fought between the Empire and the Stormcloaks. The Great War was a colossal one, fought between the Empire and the Third Aldmeri Dominion in the 4th era, between the years 171 and 175. Now before we go any further and talk about what actually happened in the war, it's crucial to understand the two factions who were actually fighting it. The Empire at the time of the war was greatly weakened. It only had control of 3 territories: High Rock, Skyrim and Cyrodiil. Black Marsh had ceded from the Empire after the Oblivion Crisis, whilst Hammerfell was engulfed with infighting between the Forebears and the Crowns, the two main political factions there at the time. Additionally, Morrowind had never fully recovered after the devastating eruption of Red Mountain, which rendered the land increasingly inhospitable and severely weakened the Dunmer overall. The Aldmeri Dominion, based in Somerset Isle, had also annexed Elsewhere and Valenwood from the Empire as well, so as you can see, the Empire was but a shadow of its former strength when the war actually broke out. The Aldmeri Dominion, in contrast, was in its prime at the outbreak of the fighting. The Thalmor, that is to say the ruling party of the Dominion, had spent the last 70 years before the war consolidating their power in the Isles and in Valenwood, having no contact with the Empire and crushing all internal rebellion. So rather unlike the Empire, the Dominion was one unified state rather than a combination of weakened and disarrayed kingdoms, which gave them quite an edge, but would it be enough to win the war? The war was instigated when the Aldmeri Dominion sent an ambassador to the Imperial City with an ultimatum for the new Emperor Titus Mede II. The long list of demands included staggering tributes and disbandment of the Blades, who had been gathering intelligence for the Empire against the Thalmor, and outlawing the worship of Talos, as well as ceding large sections of Hammerfell to the Dominion. Despite the warnings of his generals of the Empire's military weakness at the time, Emperor Titus Mede II rejected the ultimatum, and so the war began. Within days, Aldmeri armies invaded Hammerfell and Cyrodiil simultaneously. Unlike the unprepared Empire, the Dominion had been planning to fight this war for a long time. A strong force, commanded by the Thalmor general Lord Narafin, attacked Cyrodiil from the south, marching out of hidden camps into northern Elsewhere and flanking the Imperial defences along the Valenwood border. At the same time, another Aldmeri army invaded Hammerfell, which was led by Lady Arenalia, another Aldmeri commander. The Red Guards put up a weak initial defence, and so the southern coastline of Hammerfell was lost, and the Imperial Legion stationed in Hammerfell was forced to retreat across the Alakid Desert, where they were later reinforced by troops from High Rock. The Imperial Legion of Hammerfell under General Dicanius eventually met the Aldmeri forces outside Skaven in a bloody and indecisive clash. Dicanius withdrew and left the Aldmeris in possession of Skaven, but the Aldmeri were too weakened to continue their advance, and the Red Guards and leftover legionnaires continued to fight them. From this point onward, the Aldmeri Dominion mainly focused on conquering Cyrodiil in order to bring the war to an abrupt end. And so, Aldmeri reinforcements gathered in southern Cyrodiil, and on the 12th of Second Seed they launched a massive assault on the Imperial City itself, the heart and soul of the Mede Empire. One army drove north to completely surround the city, while Lord Narafin's main force attacked the walls from the south, east and west. The Emperor's decision to fight his way out the city rather than make a last stand was a bold one. No general dared advise him to abandon the capital, but Titus II was proven right in the end. Leaving a rear guard to defend the retreat of the main army, the Emperor led his men, breaking through the northern Aldmeri line. The main army met up with Nord reinforcements to the north. However, the Imperial City fell and was savagely sacked by the elves. The Imperial Palace was burned, the White Gold Tower itself looted, and all manners of atrocities were carried out by the vengeful elves on an innocent populace. In Hammerfell, the Imperial Legion under the command of General Dicanius was ordered to combine his forces with those of the Emperors and the Nord reinforcements, as they were gathering a host to retake the Imperial City. In what is known as the Battle of the Red Ring, a battle coincidentally that will serve as a model for Imperial strategists for generations to come, Titus II divided his forces into 3 main armies and assaulted the city. The Aldmeri army held up in the city was eventually surrounded because of this. Titus Mede II led the northern assault on the city, and is said to have captured Lord Narafin personally in retaking the city, and his body was allegedly hanged for 33 days atop the White Gold Tower, and in the end, the main Aldmeri army in Cyrodiil was completely and utterly destroyed to the last mer. It was after this event that the White Gold Concordant was signed, an agreement that officially ended the war with certain demands. The worship of Talos would be outlawed in all imperial provinces, and the Empire was to cede large portions of southern Hammerfell to the Dominion. Whilst Titus II agreed on behalf of the Empire, Hammerfell on the whole did not agree and felt betrayed by the Empire, and so Hammerfell was renounced as an imperial province. The war thus continued for 5 years in Hammerfell, but the Red Guards would surprisingly fight the Aldmeri Dominion to a stalemate single-handedly, leading to the Dominion withdrawing from the province. This leads us to the events of Skyrim, where whilst the Dominion and Empire are no longer engaged in direct conflict, they are both effectively engaged in a cold war. And make no mistake, a second war is coming, it's simply a question of when. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy, please do leave a like, and I hope to see you in the next one.